Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Dowrow here with another options and play video update. I didn't have earnings on the radar video for this past week. Well, for this current week, because this past Friday I was away from my desk. However, um, there are some big names, and as we kind of get through the week, um, start to focus more on like the bigger night of reports, and I feel like today is a busy day, but tomorrow you have some bigger names. Okay, so Thursday after the close, um, Lulu, I feel like is one of the more interesting setups this week, for a couple reasons, right? So let me scroll out a little bit. So uh, first off, I mean, technically, right? So the stock is priced in at about 27 points, right? So technically, you can see that this 300 level has been a relatively big area of support since May of 2020, actually. So for about the past 2 years, broke below it, has bounced, and it's going to be going into its report this week, basically right at it, maybe a little bit underneath it. So, I mean, on the downside, obviously a ton of room lower, right? On the upside, I mean, just go back to the daily chart. So, on the upside, I mean, just in, a, a month and a half ago, this was trading at like 400. So, it's well off its recent high. It's got plenty of room to the downside. It's dancing around a major support area, and historically, it's kind of a volatile name, right? So, a 27 point price to move is a little bit under 10%, which is large, but again, I mean, retail has been extremely volatile this quarter, and Lulu to me is kind of an interesting one because it's an expensive retailer. It's also been a high growth retailer. It's commanded a premium on the earnings wise, right? But that's also because they've delivered. Now, this quarter could be a little bit more volatile because you've seen some apparel names, so like Under Armour has had some issues, right? Also, like in the athletic apparel, Dick's, they had some issues last week, even though the stock responded well. I mean, for Dick's, the stock was crazy cheap on a PE multiple, so it was more of like a buy the news move. Lululemon is not cheap on a PE multiple, so I mean their guidance is definitely going to be closely watched. Um, what's also interesting about Lulu, I mean, technically, fundamentally, right, is that it's coming right as retail is attempting to stabilize. So we've seen like a bunch of retailers work off like the low. Scrolling. So we've seen like a bunch of retailers start to bottom after Walmart and Target really got walloped, right? So you're seeing some of these names start to show signs of bouncing, but Lulu's a high profile retail report, which could really impact these names. I mean, if positive, right, it could lead to like another move higher, and some of these beaten up stocks could continue to work off their low. If Lulu's negative and the stock gets hit pretty hard, these stocks could start to roll over. I mean, within that area, right? So let me show you. Nike could be like a really interesting sympathy play. So the blue line is Nike. You can see, I mean, over like the last year, I mean, there have been some stretches where Lulu has outperformed a little bit, but generally speaking, you can see that these stocks have performed relatively in line with one another over like the last like year or so. So Nike probably going to react to Lululemon earnings, and I mean Nike's a big company too. So I feel like tomorrow in retail land specifically, like this is going to be a closely watched report. Seems like it's set up for a big move. Obviously, retailers have been very volatile this quarter, and I feel like it has the potential to really like shift quite a bit of money around in the retail sector. So this will be something I'm paying attention to. All right. Um, so if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading earnings or events with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great night. Stay well, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.